Hi guys, for today's trade of the day, we'll be looking at US oil. And another code for US oil will be WTI. So as usual, we would like to start off with the monthly chart. And what I like to do on a monthly is to look for long-term resistance and long-term support levels. So offhand on US oil, this is what I see. I see the price actually drop all the way to a low here at around the 1930 level, and then there was a strong reaction. But this is not uncommon, as price back in 2001 rather, December, made sort of a low here as well. All right. So graphically, this is what I see, that we have our long-term support here. Okay. And what we like to do is try to find confluence with Fibonacci levels. And clearly, since price really made a push up, it's not going to be able and nearly retrace close to 100% of the move. Clearly, we cannot use Fibonacci retracement. So we shall use Fibonacci extension. We take from the swing high here. I want to get this zigzag to the low and all the way up here. And we see that price came close actually to the 61.8 extension before there was a reaction. So this could be a zone. Okay, this could very well be a zone. What I like to do now is to look for our long-term resistance. Of course, offhand, I see that we could possibly have a resistance over here where price tested once in June 2017 and reacted above. Price came back down, tested it again in October 2018, and it reacted above. So let's call this our long-term resistance. Now that we have our long-term resistance, again, we want to confirm it with Fibonacci ratios. So I take a retracement from swing high here all the way to a swing low. And I'm thinking it could very well be at a 38. So we have the 38 there. We'll highlight the 38. So we're going to highlight the 38 retracement level. And with this, we move down to the weekly. Now with oil, we want to look at the more recent prices. So this is the area we'll be looking at. Let me tidy this up for you. Okay, so we have our long-term support and long-term resistance. And now that we're on our weekly, we want to find our weekly support and weekly resistance. Now, price made a very nice sort of a zigzag pattern here. So you just want to confirm this area here. You just want to confirm this with Fibonacci extension. I'll take a Fibonacci extension from the swing high here to the swing low and back to the high. And I open up all the Fibonacci ratios. And I see that this long-term support falls in line with the 127.2. So this gives us further confluence that our long-term support zone is a strong level. And since price is quite close to our long-term support, I will not bother with looking for a weekly support, right? Let me just call it the weekly support. Due for weekly. So the bias that I have right now is actually for price really reacted above our long-term support or weekly support. I expect price to make another push higher towards the long-term resistance here, the 38.20. But let's look for a weekly resistance level. Price made a sharp drop down. I take a retracement from the swing high to the swing low here. Open up all the Fibonacci ratios. And we see that the first level that we have is actually at 2360, followed by the 38, and then the 50. The long-term resistance level falls in line with the 50. So I just want to highlight the 23 and the 50, because the 23 will pose as an immediate resistance to be looking at. So let me just put it this level here. Call this a resistance. And this will be our weekly resistance. Now, there's no graphical level. It's only purely based on Fibonacci. So let's just go down to the daily. Let me tidy up this chart. Okay, so now that we have this level, we're going to focus on more current price here. It's the sharp drop and no prior uh, graphical levels to refer to on the daily. So we'll just have to refer here. It's interesting to note that the 23.6% that we found on the weekly, let me just go back. There's no graphical level, but once we zoom in to the daily, we see that price, this was actually a support and could possibly become a support turn resistance, right? So remember, the bias that we had on the weekly was for price to react above the long-term support and push up towards the long-term resistance. But it seems like on the daily, price is actually coming close to the weekly resistance. And what I'm thinking is price could actually react below the weekly resistance, make one more push down before make a final push up towards the long-term resistance. So now that we have it, let me just do another retracement of this small push down. Take from this spike here to the swing low, bring out all the Fibonacci ratios, and we see that this weekly resistance that we have found falls very closely in line with the 61.8 key Fibonacci retracement level on our daily. So let me highlight this, 61.8. So this is this will be the idea that we have for the trade of the day on oil. I know oil has made a very sharp and strong push down, and it's very hard to find reference levels, especially on a lower time frame. If I go down to the 4 hours, it's going to be hard to find any reference levels because price just made that drop down, and there's still this gap that has yet to be filled. So on the daily, this is what I expect price to do. I expect price to either make a push up towards the weekly resistance and then come back down to the long-term support. Once this move is done, then we can probably see another push up finally to the long-term resistance. Okay, so the trade for today is for price of oil to make a push down below the weekly resistance or also our daily resistance towards at least our long-term support level or weekly support level, this zone. As long as price comes back down anywhere into this area, I will take profit and I will actually close out my entire position and wait for another price confirmation to move up towards the long-term resistance. That's all I have for today. Thank you.